thanks y'all for sticking around. It's cool. We made it through the holidays, right? It's good and everything. We're kind of in the doldrums of the year. In the holiday period, I read a lot of stories about packages being stolen off of porches and stuff like that, because people are getting so many things delivered these days. Then I read one story about a guy who had had it happen to him a few times. So he rigged up a package with like a little alarm that would go off when someone picked it up, and the package would start shaking. And he waited for the guy who had stolen a few packages from him to come around again, and he put that package out and terrified the shit out of that guy. Now, why did I tell you that? I'm just telling you right now that the Unabomber wasn't like entirely wrong. He had some good points. The window on this next material is closing fast, so I'm gonna get it out. The Cat Williams interview, everybody's seen that with Shannon Sharpe, I assume? Yeah. If you haven't, Cat Williams is a comedian. He's like if Spike Lee made Ratatouille. Shannon Sharpe hosts a show on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith called How to Make Your White Dad Furious. Just, no! Anyway, my girlfriend and I were watching the interview while we were both at work, and we were texting each other back and forth about the points that he was making and stuff like that. And we were both with Kat until the end when he was like, there was this meeting for the Illuminati, and it was between me and Ludacris. How do you think he got all them Fast and the Furious movies? And then my girlfriend texts me, but Ludacris isn't in all of the Fast and Furious movies. And I immediately texted back to her, I love you. Fellas, if your lady does not know that Ludacris Bridges isn't in all 10 of the Fast and Furious movies, what are you doing? Why are you hanging around right now? You need to let the door hit him where the Lord split him, you know what I mean? Get out of that situation. You're going to wait around too long, then you're going to find out that you're going to stick around and you're going to get angry that you're a Miranda instead of a Samantha. Take it from me, I'm a Charlotte. I was talking with my girlfriend recently over dinner, and she mentioned to me that she had never had a broken bone. And I looked her dead in the eye and I said, yet. My friend told me he thought on game shows when you win a year's supply of something that you want it all like right then. Like if you won a year's supply of Honey Nut Cheerios, whether that's 20 boxes or whether they like pull a truck up to your house, you get it all at one moment, right? See, and I'm different than that. I thought that if you want a year's supply of something on a game show, that meant within a year, you got to eat as much of that as you wanted to or use as much of that as you wanted to. Challenge accepted, right? Like, I don't know how much rice-a-roni I could eat in a year, but I'm going to find out. I'll just keep a little bit in my cheek right now, just like soaking, keep it in there dry. It'll soften up eventually. Like, I don't know if I'm deficient on any sort of vitamins, but if I win a year's supply of Centrum, I'm going to be topped up A to Z, you know what I mean? I don't know what vitamin X is, but I'm going to have it 100% in my system. I like playing board games. That's one of my things I like doing. And I got a friend that's really into that too, so it's good whenever I see him. That's like another activity we can do with each other and just catch up and all that. But I think he has more free time than me because he called me up the other day and he's like, hey man, you want to play Risk and Monopoly at the same time so you got to manage a wartime economy? And I was like, okay, mein Fuhrer. How much free time you got, man? Like, tell me you've read Mein Kampf without telling me you've read Mein Kampf, you know what I mean? Oh, hey, has anyone ever written an email to a deaf person in all caps to make it louder? Could work, you don't know. Just me? I've done it. I had a friend in high school give his deaf brother a CD for Christmas. That's just objectively funny. There's no joke there. It's just hilarious. One for you and one for me. It's a good way to get what you want to get. Let's see. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't watch the UFC. And sadly, I don't wear my Aaron Rodgers jersey anymore. It was very expensive. So that means, I'm like good with science. I'm good with medical advancement, all that. I believe in all that stuff. And so anytime I gotta get a shot, I don't mind it. I don't fight anyone like that. But I have noticed as I've gotten older that shots and vaccines don't hurt as much as they used to. And every time I get a shot, I always think to myself, I could do heroin. Like the real heroin too, right? Like, you know, heroin classic. red can heroin, right? Like the type of heroin that keeps Kentucky voting for Mitch McConnell. Not the fake heroin that's going to make me think it's a good idea to go see Jelly Roll in concert. He seems delightful. Yeah, I do a bunch of other things other than comedy. I play a bunch of musical instruments and all that stuff. I'm pretty much great at everything, except ping pong. But I used to write songs with one of my friends, and when you're writing songs, like you don't initially know what it's going to be. It might just be like a guitar riff or something on the piano or something like that, or maybe you got like a verse of lyrics, but you don't really have a title straight away. So whoever came to the first person with the idea, we just write at the top of the page their song. So like for me, it would say JT's song, and for him, it would say Brian's song, and then we would cry for 30 minutes. It's a deep cut for the olds. The other day I was texting my friend and I was writing the word night, and I accidentally hit the letter G twice and immediately started sweating. But luckily, like autocorrect caught that and didn't get me in any sort of hot water, which is strange because like autocorrect is our collective enemy, I think, right? Like if we wanted to heal the division in this country, we should just team up against autocorrect, right? Here's my favorite autocorrect story. So my mother sent me a text one day asking me some question I don't recall, and I was going to respond in the affirmative with the 3-letter word yup. And I got why you typed in, and autocorrect suggested as the #1 choice, Yugoslavia. Now some of y'all in this crowd know that Yugoslavia, not a country since 1992. How much is that getting texted around that autocorrect thinks it's the first thing you're going to type when you type in the letters YU? So the good thing about that is, anytime my mom and I would text back and forth asking each other a question, we would just use Yugoslavia to mean yes. So it was like, hey, are you coming home this weekend? Yugoslavia. Did you see the game? Yugoslavia. What country was formed in the aftermath of World War I and the fall of the Austria-Hungary Empire to reunite the countries of Serbia, Croatia, and Slovenia? Yugoslavia. Mom likes to be factually correct. Now here's the thing, right? I've seen shows like The Wire and Homeland, and since I carry an iPhone next to my dangly bits all day, I know that somewhere in a government building in a smoky basement, there is a man surrounded by chalkboards connected with red yarn, going through text after text after text between me and my mom, trying to figure out why this mother-son duo in Greensboro, North Carolina is trying to reunify the Balkans under the red flag of communism. It's a great feeling. Sleep well at night. And that means there's like some guy just sitting in that basement poring over text after text of just like me and my mom talking about how cool Brandi Carlile is and how strong Manchester City's midfield attack is. Just wondering if we're going to attack out of the northwest of England with an army of lesbian rock stars. What does it all mean? Here's a good idea if anyone wants to go into business with me. I think alcoholic beverage companies should sell 39-ounce 40s so you don't have to pour any out for the homies. See, that's just practical. It's not a joke. I'm getting older. And I'm starting to reflect on the things as I get older. I'm getting to that point in my life where like Steely Dan's going to become my favorite band, no matter what. Might as well not fight it. I'm reeling in the years. Yep. But I gone back and reflected on things I thought of as a child, and I realized just how stupid I was as a kid. Like when I was a kid, I thought that the world went from black and white to color, like overnight. Like I just thought there was some cartoonishly large switch, and then one day everyone was like, let's do it. Dave, flip it. And then some guy hit a lever and it was like, boom, let there be light, you know? And it just like made sense to me, I think, because my dad was a big fan of the Andy Griffith Show, which if you're not from these parts, it still gets shown around here like it's new TV in the afternoon. But if you are familiar with that show, you know that the early episodes are filmed in black and white, and the later episodes are filmed in color. If you're not familiar with that show, it's a show about how nice cops were in the South in the 60s. It's extremely accurate, extremely accurate. So one day, anyway, I knew my dad was a fan of that show. I went to him and I was like, "Gee, Pa, when did the world switch from black and white to color?" And he looked at me and he said, "Son, you're just better be glad your mom wasn't more pro-choice." It just made sense to me, right? Like I had seen other things, you know, like early clips of the Beatles, right? Those are in black and white. The later clips, they're very much in color, you know. I had seen The Wizard of Oz, right? The first part of that movie, black and white. Then she kicks open that door, takes that last tab of acid, puts on side 2 a Dark Side of the Moon, and follows the yellow brick road. I'd seen those early clips of Kennedy giving speeches, right? Those are in black and white. But that last clip, very much in color. You know, I wish the Kennedy assassination had been in high definition. That would have really cleared up any sort of conspiracy theories, right? Like we wouldn't have any questions about it. And that's like an easy first world kind of problem to complain about these days. Like I was watching that show Vikings on the History Channel, which is a fictional show on the History Channel, because they're just making shit up now. First episode, their big problem is whether or not they can go west. Just think about that. Think about like if tonight when you leave, you just don't turn right. Ever again, right? Like I know we're in NASCAR country, right? But that's no way to live your life, just going left. Let's see, I was in the grocery store recently and a man approached me wearing a hat, and the hat said retired, but I misread the hat. I didn't know we were making them wear labels. I just didn't know we were making them wear labels. I do think everybody deserves to be seen. I think everybody that is a right that everyone has in this modern age, and everyone deserves to be called what they want by whatever name, pronoun, any of that kind of stuff. That's why I'm already prepared for when the Hebrews start calling themselves they brews. I wrote that joke in the before times, if you're keeping score on that one. And my friend sent me a message and he said, "Hey, I guess in light of recent events, you're going to cut down on the they brews joke." And I said, "The hell I will." If anything, I'm going to say it more. I'm just going to chase it with a poop joke, you know, soften the blow. And the stool, as it were. I'm from a little town called Burlington, North Carolina. It's about 25 mistakes that way. And it's not really known for anything in modern times, except for the fact that we built a shopping center where we put a Dick's Sporting Goods beside a BJ's Warehouse.
Right.
For convenience, you know. Like we essentially built a meme and we didn't get the joke right. You could have put a handy Hugo's gas station and a Jiffy Lube in the parking lot and it wouldn't have been any clearer to us, right? We just thought, hey, 48 pack of toilet paper, new Jordans, get your car fixed. It's a Burlington Saturday, action packed. If you get done before noon, you can hit one of the 13 Biscuitville's in the city. Possibly all of them if you get done before 2. And I think the reason we didn't get the joke is because across town, in the older part of town, there was a shopping center called Compark Plaza, spelled the way you think it's spelled. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good time, right? But you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay there too long, right? It become a real sticky situation. It's still there, right? Like if you get on Wendover and travel east far enough, you will pass it. My grandmother used to take me there and just leave me in the car like I was a dog or an infant. Let's see. Anyone out there doing the ancestry DNA, anything, looking up what you are, doing that thing where you like white people go to didmyfamilyownpeople.com and taking that test where you spit in your mom's mouth or whatever and find out that your grandkids are going to have red hair or something like that? I don't want to know anything about my family, right? Both sides of my family have lived here since before the Civil War. And I knew 3 of my grandparents, and that was one too many. I'm not going to learn anything good by knowing more about people born before 1916, okay? And thankfully, I don't know much about my dad's side of the family. That family tree's probably got a few loops in it. But I do know a little bit about my mom's side of the family, and I know that on her side of the family, I'm related to the Wright brothers. So in a way, if you think about it, I'm kind of responsible for 9/11. All right, I'm JT, guys. Thank you all for listening.